let's face it, whenever we think of habits, we often want to either scream or pull our hair out because the thought of creating either a new habit or trying to make sure that we're being consistent with the ones that we've created can sometimes drive us crazy. So I wanted to come on and talk about two things. One, share some new habits that I have been working on to be accountable, as well as share with you one great tip that has really helped me from a YouTuber that I saw earlier on this week, and I hope that it will be helpful for you as well too. So my own habits, one of the habits I'm trying to get myself out of is grabbing my phone first thing in the morning when I wake up. I think that that's probably a habit that we all struggle with, right? And for me, what I want to do instead is to read for 30 minutes. I have so many books that I want to read, and I find that by the end of the day or the end of the week, I haven't done as much reading and learning as I've wanted to do. And learning is really important to me, whether it's about my business or about writing. So that is a new habit that I have recently started, and it's been a hit or a miss, I'll be honest with you, right? But I find what's really encouraging me is that one thing that I've heard recently that was just sort of a light bulb moment has made it easier for me to stick to this particular habit is motivation comes in the first moments of action. Now, I wish I could remember who said that. I honestly don't, but it was like, pow, wow. Because a lot of times we think motivation, you have to be motivated before you actually start acting. But if we really look at each time we kind of acted even though we weren't motivated, the desire to continue and be motivated actually came after we started doing what we're supposed to do, right? We get excited because we're in the flow, or we get great ideas because we're working on what we love, right? So hopefully that's something that will help you to think about saying to yourself whenever you're like, I need to be motivated first, right? That has really helped me. Now, the second thing that I'm doing is I'm also working on creating what I call resets. And this is actually something I picked up from another YouTuber, and I've been watching a lot of YouTubers about creating, really great morning routines and weekly routines, monthly routines, quarterly routines, all those kind of things, because my routines are constantly changing. Like I have 1 week with my kids, 1 week without my kids. I have a part-time job, which mostly I'm working 3 days a week, but sometimes that changes. So my schedule is constantly changing, and it's really been a challenge with writing consistently and doing a lot of things that I really want to do. So I'm really trying to learn how to juggle when things like that happen, because the old ways that I've been doing it just aren't working. So I'm trying to get tips from other people who have similar situations and have families, things like that, to see sort of what and how they're doing it, okay? So the first thing I did is I'm working on is what I call a weekly reset. And it's a combination of personal and professional and just, I guess personal and work stuff and things that I need to look at each week. The next thing is monthly reset, which is basically the same as the weekly, but for the whole month. Because I usually look at like sort of what goals I want to achieve for the month, but I don't really dive too deep on sort of what worked, what didn't. I coach my clients through that, right? But I really haven't been doing it for myself recently. So I'm trying to actually do what I teach my clients to do. And that is, and just breaking it down into a lot of great things. And my productivity coach, Obehi, one thing that she really got me thinking about as well too, is looking at my emotions behind it and why I'm continuing to do the things that I have been doing from month to month. And that was a complete eye-opener as well too, right? So, because a lot of times I tend to focus on the business side, very regimented, instead of thinking, okay, how am I feeling? What's causing those emotions? And like I said, it's something I coach my clients through, right? Digging deep into those doubts and fears that are stopping them. But then I forget that I need to do that for myself. So I'm trying to be very intentional about doing those kinds of things. And the same for the quarterly. I always set quarterly goals, but I don't always review where I'm at, what the challenges were that I had, and how I'm going to set myself up for success in the coming quarter. So those are some of the things, those are two primary things that I am working on. Now, another great, or I should say a great tip that I got from a YouTuber, and I wish I could remember who it is. I'm gonna have to start writing this down so that I don't forget, is she was talking about morning routines, right? And one of the things she said is to work on doing what works for you. And that was like, pooh, light bulb moment. And what she meant by that is that a lot of times we come up with this new habit and we try to force it into our lives, right? We need to do this, we need to do that. When the truth is, we really are not feeling it, and it just, in the end, doesn't happen, or we do it for a day, a couple of days, maybe even a week, and then we fall off the bandwagon. And the reason why is because it just doesn't fit our lives, and it just doesn't align with who we are and what we enjoy doing. And what she said is looking at the good habits that you want to create, and looking at how you can rework it so that it works for you. Like, for instance, I'm not always the best at eating healthy, and that has a lot to do with my kids are such picky eaters, and there's a lot of things that they don't eat, and I end up eating what they're eating, which isn't the best choice for me, right? And especially during COVID, I had put back on all the weight that I had just lost before COVID. So what I ended up doing is because when it comes to cooking healthy food, I'm not always the best. So what I decided to do was go with a meal service where it's completely healthy. You get the smoothies, all of those things. It's already pre-packaged. I don't have to get up and buy all the materials and do all the work, because if I have done that and it just didn't work, right? I know that is not something that I'm going to be consistent with. So I got the meal prep service, and it has been amazing because I get to go in the freezer, get what I need, throw it in the blender, easy peasy. So that is something that has been working for me, right? So that is sort of what she's talking about. Like, for instance, you see something where somebody says, you should do this amount of exercise. And the truth is, I don't usually do more than 30 minutes. And some people are like, oh, that's not enough. Sometimes I do 15 minutes because I know if I try to push myself any longer, it's just not gonna happen, right? It's a fight for me to just get into the habit of doing that 15 and 30 minutes. If I try to push it more, then I know that I'm not gonna do it. So, and then another example is getting up at 5 in the morning. Now, I am one of those people that get up at 5 in the morning. I totally am. But one of the things, and I've actually encouraged my clients not to get up at 5 in the morning, but maybe train themselves to get up maybe half an hour to an hour earlier than the time that they normally do, so that they fit writing into their lives. But one of the things that my productivity coach, Obehi, taught me was that not everybody is a morning person, and they're not always the most creative during those times. Now, with some people, I've had some clients that they may not get up at 5 in the morning, but I have one client, she works for herself, so she can get up pretty much whenever she wants, and she's definitely a night owl. So she was struggling to wake up at 5 in the morning, and she ended up, I said, try something different. Just try getting up like an hour earlier. And she was able to do that and do it consistently. And she actually enjoyed getting up early, and she found that she was really very creative in that time, instead of trying to do it late at night when she was exhausted or working on other things. So these are some of the things to consider when you're trying to work on new habits and figuring out how to fit them in your life. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments. If you are trying new habits in 2021, I know we're kind of halfway through the year, but if there's any new habits maybe that you have started and been consistent with, just as a woohoo, celebration. I would love to hear them in the comments. As always, I would love for you to like the channel and share it with anybody that you think would be helpful. I mostly talk about writing, but I'm trying to kind of give people more behind the scenes look at my life as a whole instead of just focusing on writing, because I tend to do that, and I tend to be sort of very, as you notice, I'm not looking down at my computer today, which I usually do. It really depends on what I'm talking about, because I prefer to free talk, but a lot of times I find that I forget important information that I want to share, that I think that will be really important for you, and why I tend to look at my computer. But when I'm talking about certain things, so you're gonna see a mixture of all kinds of different videos. So I hope that you'll enjoy them, and I hope that you'll take this opportunity to get to know me a little bit more. And tune in. And if you would like to get to know more about me and my writing journey, or learn about writing, whether you're just starting out or you've been writing for a while, to get some tips, tricks, and strategies. All right. So if you don't know who I am, hopefully you do if you're here on the channel, but if you're here for the first time, my name is Elke Feuer. I'm an author and a fiction book coach. I like to make that clear. And I help writers stay focused with accountability and support, taking them from idea to launch book. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. I'm usually here every Friday. I'm working on being consistent with that, by the way. All right. Take care and have a fabulous weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye.